Originally from Los Angeles and live with us from Nashville, singer, songwriter, pianist Kim Carnes. Great to speak with you, Kim.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm well, and you?
I'm great.
You and your husband, David Ellingson, sure had a textbook collaborative effort going, writing and performing some of the biggest songs of the past 3 decades. What a run.
Yeah, I'm really lucky to be a songwriter. I love what I do, and, I'm in awe of the people that I write with every day. Here in Nashville, I mean, really, it's the reason I moved here, because it is such a songwriter's town, and my publisher was here, and it just, there's a lot of really awesome writers.
Here's a piece of trivia. Actually, Kim, your first big song was a duet with folk pop singer, Columbus, Ohio-born Gene Cotton, with You're a Part of Me from August of 1978. But in reality, that was a reissue of your 1976 solo hit, re-sung with a partner.
Yes, that was my first A&M album. You're Part of Me was on that album, and then Gene came to me, gosh, I guess you've got the years better than I do, a couple of years later, and asked if we could do it as a duet. And so I was really flattered and glad that we did it.
The Billboard hits were just streaming in with Draw of the Cards, Voyeur, and your big duet with Kenny Rogers, Don't Fall in Love with a Dreamer, from April of 1980, number 4 pop. Was that pairing, you and Kenny, a product of you both working in the New Christie Minstrels in the late 60s?
I was only in the group a really short time. I really replaced a girl for about a month, and Kenny was in the group at that time. It was before he left to form the first edition. We kept in touch after that, and at one point he came to, I believe it was a party after the Grammys one night, and came over to talk to Dave and to talk to me, and said that he wanted us to write him a concept album. He wanted to be a cowboy, and basically just wanted us to come up with a story and the songs and present it to him. So we went home and really had to create the character and the story before we could backtrack and write the songs, and we decided to make him a modern-day cowboy, gave him the name of Gideon Tanner, and really created a whole story. The song starts with his funeral and then backtracks through his life, and eventually we came up with 10 songs, the entire album, and we took it to Kenny's house and played it for him, our demo album, and we were really thrilled he liked it, and asked if I would sing Dreamer with him as a duet. So it was pretty cool.
We're live with Kim Carnes from Nashville. Kim, Grammy Award-winning Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Bette Davis Eyes held the #1 pop slot for 9 straight weeks back in April of '81. What a great song. That record was co-written by Jackie DeShannon and Donna Weiss.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I first heard that song when I was making my romance dance album. More Love was on the romance dance album. And the producer of that album, George Tobin, played me a demo of Bette Davis Eyes that was drastically different than what our record ended up being. It was with an acoustic guitar, and it was kind of up-tempo and bouncy and just very different. But I loved the lyric because it was so left field and just so different, and immediately thought it was a really cool song. We ended up not doing the song for that project. And when I went in the studio with Val Garay for the Mistaken Identity album, Donna Weiss called me up and reminded me that I had liked their demo of that song so much and wondered if she could send it to me again, and she did, and we ended up recording it for Mistaken Identity. I always like to record live, meaning we go rehearse for a couple of weeks and basically go in the studio, and I like to get my vocal at the same time the band gets their performance, and we do very few overdubs. On that particular song, we rehearsed it for 3 days, trying all sorts of feels, and about the third day, finally captured the feel that we thought the song should have. Bill Como, my longtime keyboard player, went into the corner with his sib and really came out with this wonderful distinctive sound that became the sound kind of that record, and then it all just fell into place after that.
We're live with Kim Carnes from Nashville. Kim, you touched upon one of the best records to come out of the 1980s, my favorite, More Love. That had some great orchestration behind it. Strings, the entire lavish production from June of 1980. What a great record that was.
Oh, thanks. That, again, is Bill Como. You know, the whole front, that kind of pre-intro in the song was Bill just noodling around on the keyboard, and he came up with this wonderful classical intro that we cut onto the front of the song that I think made it real distinctive. Growing up, was a huge Smokey Robinson fan, like lots of other people. And More Love, while it wasn't a big hit for him, that was always my favorite of all the Smokey and the Miracle songs. And I thought, one day when I start recording, I'm going to do that song. So it was really neat that it ended up being a hit for me and one of my first. You know, I love that song.
What a great record, More Love, with our guest Kim Carnes from Nashville. Then, Kim, you would team up not only with Kenny Rogers again, but James Ingram with What About Me, 2 weeks #1 adult contemporary. What a big hit.
Yeah, that was a cool song. Richard Marx wrote that, and David Foster brought that to me, producer of A Billion Hits. And he just said, we've got this really neat song and a concept for it. 3 people would sing, and I want to play it for you. So when I heard the song and pictured all the different voices on it, I thought it was a great idea.
Crazy in the Night, Barking at Airplanes was such a big smash, and they reworked that for club play in the discos of the period back in June of 1985. What a very atypical record.
Yeah, it was cool. You know, that's one of the songs I always have wanted to work up live, and we still have never done it because when I do shows, somebody always requests it, and we just need to. You've reminded me again. We need to work it up and do it live because that's just a fun song to do. Well, you know, it's different. I like it because it's one of those that as a writer, you wish would come along more often. It took me probably 15 minutes. To write it. Just the concept came to me really based on my oldest son, just his fears when he was a little kid, and he would say, you know, I can't sleep. And when I'd ask him why, he would say, well, because I think there's monsters in the closet and this and that. And one day I was thinking about all that, and the song just kind of poured out.
You were in Come On, Let's Live a Little.
Oh, geez. You're going back just a little too deep here.
Not one piece of information escapes me, Kim.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. You cannot possibly like that. Oh my gosh, there are no words to describe how horrible that is. That was my one attempt at, quote, acting, and definitely let me know that I needed to stick with my first love, writing music and singing it and sticking with music. Not only was the picture pretty bad, but I was completely horrendous. Any illusions about acting and any scripts that I received over the years after that, I would easily turn down saying, you don't want me, trust me. It's not my deal. But thank you for liking it.
I thoroughly enjoyed your 1988 folk CD, View from the House, which brings us to a long-distance email from a person you know very well, the vice president of the Kim Carnes fan club from Brazil, South America, Guilherme, who wanted me to ask you, why did you record just one album at MCA Records? He notes that you left EMI in 1987, and then you signed with MCA in 1988, and View from the House was released, and that was it.
For one reason only, because Jimmy Bowen, who was the president of MCA, when I signed, ended up leaving the label. And as happens so many times when the person that signs you, and especially if he is in a lead position at the label, leaves, a new regime comes in, and they basically want to sign all their own people, and that's what happened. It's pure and simple. And it's a shame because we had a top 10 hit. The first single, Crazy in Love, was top 10 on AC radio, and we were about to release a second single, and they just dropped the whole project, which kind of broke my heart because I love that album. I'm really proud of it, and we were off to a great start. So it's just one of the casualties of politics in the music business.
You know, that's so true. And for those listening who don't know who Jimmy Bowen is, he was so instrumental in producing everybody from Dean Martin and beyond.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. He is an amazing producer. Having worked with him twice, he produced my very first album I ever did on his label, Amos Records. He produced the first song I did, which was the theme song for a film called Vanishing Point. The song was Nobody Knows, and then he, again with Tony Brown, produced the View from the House album in Nashville, and he is such a wonderful producer because he respects the musicians and the artists so much, and really, instead of being a, quote, dictator wanting to put his stamp on the album, he wants to get the best out of the artist and the players, and he's just amazing to work with. I've known him forever. He signed me to my very first publishing deal I ever had, and I just adore him. That first publishing deal, by the way, at Amos, showed what incredible foresight Jimmy Bowen had within his little publishing company, and we would share demo time with all these people, with Don Henley, Glenn Fry, John David Souther, just an amazing group of people who all went on to have a really high level of success. And I look back on those days with great fondness, because we all were just kind of bumming around Hollywood and sharing demo time and playing songs for each other, and Jimmy was amazing.
All right, Kim, let's mention you'll be live at the Swallow at the Hollow in Roswell, Georgia. And tell us what you've been working on lately. You have an astronomical collection of songs for different artists under your belt. What a repertoire.
I've been really fortunate as a songwriter. I mean, it's my first love, and, you know, it's just, I will write forever. And also, since moving to Nashville, which was 8 years ago, really discovered my absolute favorite kind of live shows to do are a type of show that was really born at the Bluebird here in Nashville called Songwriters in the Round. And 3 or 4 of us get together and do a show anywhere from an hour to 3 hours, and just take turns playing songs that we've written, and everyone sings and plays on the other people's songs, and it makes for the best show. And I love it, and I do the shows with the people that I write with the most, and they're just wonderful. It's just, I think, my favorite thing that I've ever done in the music field. They're really great shows.
Great music. Kim Carnes, best to your husband, David, and thank you so much for sharing the music and the memories with us here.
Oh, yeah, my pleasure. Thank you, too. I hope we do one of these shows your way, so you can come see us sometime.
You have an open invitation to visit us at the studio anytime, Kim.
Hey, thanks, Shadoe.